So this is your esteemed judge. Honestly, the man's a clown. He thinks he knows the law, but he wouldn't know justice if it bit him.
Aiden Victor Roth, who is 18 years old, speaks the words with a casual demeanor, almost as if he's ordering coffee, while Judge Frank Caprio puts his pen down. "I'm sorry, Mr. Roth. Do you know what that means, because it's being recorded? It is clear to me that my father owns half of this city and your father has property, but he doesn't have this bench." Aiden shrugs. His lawyer, or rather the lawyer his father appointed, stands by. "Your client, despite being a young counselor, just made an outrageous statement that undermines the integrity of this case. We'll address that later." "First things first, Miss Lewis," called the clerk. "Case number is 2025 TR 47286, Commonwealth versus Aiden Victor Roth." Caprio was charged with speeding at 68 mph in a school zone that is designated for active hours, reckless operation, and non-compliance with legal guidelines. Caution should be used and agree to comply with the court's rulings. The attorney tries again. "Thank you for your loyalty, and we're willing to settle the fines and resolve this matter today. The court is not a payment platform, counsel. Your client was caught driving at almost double the speed limit in an active school district. We're going to review the evidence. Please take Officer Rodriguez on the stand, who lifts his right hand and takes a profanity line. "Read your story in the record," Rodriguez said. "PLZ, bro." "Yes, thank you." Speed enforcement work on Elmwood Avenue near Carver Elementary School began at 8:47 a.m. on Tuesday, October 15th, when the beacon was flashing and the speed limit was reduced to 35 mph. Using LiDAR, I detected a black sports sedan driving west at 68 mph. I activated my lights and siren. It proceeded for about 2 blocks more than 3 blocks before finally parking. I approached the driver, Aiden Roth, and asked for his license and registration. He said he needed to contact his lawyer first, which I said was not how traffic stops work. I responded with citations for speeding and reckless driving, as well as failure to obey rules. Caprio signs a note. "I'm curious, Officer Rodriguez, do you have the dash cam and body cam footage of this incident?" "Yes, please play the body camera footage. The only thing that matters is the audio." A brief hiss was followed by Aiden's voice, which was sharp and dismissive. "Do you know who pays for your salary?" Caprio lets it sit. "Mr. Roth, what did you say to Officer Rodriguez? Isn't the context relevant? While Rodriguez was on duty, you tried to scare him by claiming financial control. Speed is a matter of physics, not privilege." Caprio heads to the clerk. "Did anyone get in touch with this court before today's hearing, Miss Lewis?" The clerk examines a file. "Thank you for your understanding. There are 2 incoming calls, 1 voicemail, and 1 call to Roth Capital Group legal counsel. At 9:23 a.m., the first call was made, followed by another call at 9:00 a.m. Voicemail was disconnected at 9:58. We encourage you to check the voicemail. The courtroom is being addressed by a professional and composed voice. We're seeking an inconclusive decision before the next hearing. Kindly return the phone as soon as possible." The lawyer remains steadfast in his decision to not take calls from his father's office. This is prejudiciously overruled. Process-related pressures must be documented. I'm documenting the facts, not speculating. Miss Lewis, please provide a timeline for contacts. Yes, you have been honoring the traffic stop at 8:47 a.m. Roth Capital Legal's first call was made at 9:23, 36 minutes later. Caprio glances at Aiden. "Mr. Roth, did you text your father after the stop?" "I texted him back." "Miss Lewis, are you able to provide evidence of the text message that was sent by Officer Rodriguez during a traffic stop?" "Yes, your deserving respects." The defendant's text was to reach the father, who was identified as the target. He received a citation for the time of 92 o'clock and will make calls. Don't be intimidated by this. The text is interpreted by Caprio. Mr. Roth's expectation of rescue is not a defense. Is it true that Roth has a record of 3 speeding tickets issued in the past 18 months, and all cases have been officially ruled as counsel-related? There have been no court appearances by the accused, and Caprio is looking at Aiden. Is it accurate to say that you have only been cited 3 times in the last 18 months and have never appeared in court yourself? My lawyer handles it and your lawyer pays the fines, but that's not the same as being accountable. Are you aware that school zones are in place to ensure the safety of children? I'm curious. Did any of the children come to the police station during the incident, Roth? Yes, your answer is yes. A crossing guard was stationed as around 20 students were crossing Elmwood. Mr. Roth, you were driving at a speed of 68 mph past 20 school children. Are you aware of the distance you have to cover to come to a stop at this speed? Aiden shrugs. You had to stop for 2 blocks after the officer turned on his lights. It's not acceptable. That is defiance. Caprio takes it easy, Mr. Roth. When you first spoke to the court, you mentioned that your father could have bought you. Do you agree with that statement? The attorney is speaking within the context of legal proceedings. Your client is young and lacks understanding, but you are correct, as he is an 18-year-old. I'm curious. Roth, is it true that your father has the power to buy this court? Aiden chuckles. My father dines with the mayor every night. He contributes to half of the charities in this city, so if he wants to make a call, it goes away. Miss Lewis verified this statement on the stenographer's record. The clerk states, my dad dines with the mayor every month. He contributes 50% of the funds raised for various charities in this city, so if he decides to call, it goes unpaid. The authority was tested by arrogance for a long time, and Caprio's silence was inconspicuous. Mr. Roth, you recently informed the court that your father could have easily wiped out any lawful citation due to his financial and social standing. It's not exaggerated. It represents a direct assault on the legitimacy of this case. I acknowledge that my father wields more authority than you. The traffic citations for Caprio are conclusive and unchallenged. The evidence supports this, with the body cam timestamp and school zone beacon log demonstrating a liquefied reading of 68 miles per hour. The vehicle failed to stop for 2 blocks after lights and sirens were turned on, with around 20 children in attendance. The defendant's refusal to provide a license and registration without legal representation constitutes failure to comply with the law. I find the defendant guilty on all 3 counts. I have a 90-day license suspension, and am required to take an additional driver safety course before being eligible for reinstatement. But the impact of Caprio's pause is indicative of the limitations of privilege. Mr. Roth, your remarks to Officer Rodriguez and to the court are of a more serious nature than simply stating that you were attempting to bully someone who was in charge of the public's job at the time. Your statement, my dad can buy you, undermine the credibility of this court. Direct contempt of court is characterized as actions that take place in the name of the court and hinder the administration of justice. The statement was made in person. It was not a random occurrence. It diminishes the public's confidence in the legal system. Mr. Roth, I'm deeply offended by your insult. You conveyed to both individuals present in this courtroom and those who will read this transcript that justice is for sale, and that wealth is a determining factor in the outcome. This is not how the system functions, not on my watch. If you are found guilty of direct contempt of court, you will be sentenced to 30 days in adult correctional facilities and can be subject to review within 15 days if you behave and comply. Officer Wilson, take Mr. Roth into custody. The bailiff makes a swift motion. Aiden vanishes. Wait, what happened, Mr. Officer Wilson, please proceed. The attorney is standing. Your Honor, my client wasn't a mean counselor. The courtroom is filled with the sound of your client's words, as evidenced by the 2 times they spoke it. This is a form of direct contempt, Mr. Roth. You cannot do that and your father will do nothing. It's instantaneous. You'll be transported within the hour. Miss Lewis makes a comment. Your time is now 10:31 After 31 minutes, Caprio is in the courtroom. The clerk contacts case 2025 TR 47301, Commonwealth versus Maria Santos. A woman in her 50s, who is feeling anxious, carries a folder and was cited for an expired registration that was 3 days past its due date. Miss Santos inquired if you had paid the registration fee the day after the citation. Is this accurate? Thank you for your honor. I'm sorry I forgot the date because I have 2 jobs. You took it on right away. Miss Santos, thank you for your integrity. We are hearing the truth about equality when we hear the word money. Caprio goes back to his notes. For the time being, I'm recording policy suggestions for the municipal court administration and the mayor's office. 1. Establish a weekly ex parte influence log for all cases. Any off-record communication attempts, such as from law firms or corporate counsels, will be recorded and made public. To begin with, establish a hotline for the court clerk to report any interference attempts. Any information that could be used to pressure, intimidate, or exploit wealth or connections can be reported anonymously, and all reports will be investigated. Additionally, he will conduct yearly speed beacon audits in school zones, with the findings released to the public. Transparency and accessibility are prerequisites for enforcement data. Additionally, a neutral enforcement script should be developed for drivers to use when invoking wealth, status, or connection during stops. Professional boundaries must be clearly defined. A court contempt guidance memo must accompany any action taken against the court or its officers, which may involve intimidation of the defendant's resources or connections. If you think that influence should not have any bearing on traffic cases, consider subscribing to order in the court to ensure that this policy model spreads quickly. The body cam footage is public record and immediately goes viral, with local and national media generating headlines within 72 hours. The adolescent pleads with the judge, "My dad can buy you leaves and handcuffs after 30 minutes. Roth Capital Group's legal team submits an urgent motion to overturn the contempt verdict within 7 days, citing First Amendment hyperbole, indecency, no prior experience, and letters from charitable organizations. Caprio dismisses the argument in writing. The verdict is 2 pages long. In the concluding paragraph, it is stated that the defendant's statement was not hyperbolic, but rather a calculated attempt to assert that wealth is more important than justice. Such assertions made in public court undermine the credibility of the legal system. The contempt verdict remains in effect. After 15 days, Aiden is back at ACI for his review hearing. He is dressed in a standard issue jumpsuit, but his hair is not combed and his face is thinner. I'm curious to know, Mr. Roth, if you've given thought to whether or not continuing to have custody is beneficial. What's your take on this issue? Aiden directs his gaze directly towards the camera. Your Honor, I was mistaken. I believed that money was a symbol of strength. My father's success meant that I didn't have to follow the same rules as everyone else. I displayed arrogance, was disrespectful, and put children at risk. Consequently, I insulted both the officer who pulled me over and the court that sentenced me. I'm wondering if Caprio's observation of him watching is a reflection of your own thoughts, or someone else wrote it for you, Mr. Roth. It's my right and my honor. I haven't uttered that sentence for 15 days, and I'm ashamed of it. A. Bien. Shame is the catalyst for change. My decision is to reduce your custody to time served for 15 days, but I'm imposing a restorative accountability plan that requires either completion or reinstatement of the 15-day sentence. The Providence School Safety Program is pleased to offer 200 hours of community service, which involves serving as a crossing guard assistant in the same school zone as you were driving, and working in all-weather conditions to assist children in crossing the school line safely every day. You'll personally apologize to Officer Rodriguez and the principal of Carver Elementary School and record a public service announcement on school zone safety. The script will undergo judicial review before being handed over to the school principal and council. Ignoring the use of branding and family references, would you agree with completing a driver safety reflection course and composing an 800-word analysis on the results? You have been granted honor and release today, and Officer Wilson will review your release paperwork. Mr. Wilson, don't feel remorseful about your decision. I will not do it, Roth. Thank you. Aiden finishes the plan in a step-by-step manner over the next 4 months. At 7:45 a.m., he arrives for guard duty on Elmwood Avenue during the first week, and the temperature is 34 degrees. He holds a stop sign and observes children crossing the intersection where he was clocked at 68 mph. One parent recognizes him from the news, but she doesn't respond. She looks at him and walks her daughter across. During the third week, he apologizes to the police officer at the station, and Rodriguez nods and says, "Thank you for your presence. I hope you're feeling well." During week 5, he meets with the principal of Carver Elementary. She reads his apology and urges him to remember that our students should feel secure walking to school. He captures the PSA in week 8. His father's philanthropic endeavors are alluded to in the first draft. The court declines to acknowledge it. He recollects driving at 68 mph over children. "I believed I was doing it wrong, but there's a reason for speed limits. Follow those rules." In the 12th week, he presents his reflection, which is honest and unprejudiced. He states, "I had the belief that money was equal to respect for 18 years. It's not wrong. You must exhibit respect by treating others well and accepting responsibility when caught." The compliance log is straightforward. 200 hours completed, 2 apologies given, 1 PSA sanctioned, and 1 reflection submitted. Is contempt a more common method for intimidating people in public court? Explain your reasoning. After 4 months of the original hearing, Aiden goes back to the court for final review, and Caprio scrutinizes the documents, service logs, signed apology receipts, PSA, course certificate thought to be original, and written reflection. "Mr. Roth, I've gone through your reflection. Describe what you learned." Aiden stands up. "I was taught that regulations are not hindrances, but safeguards. My father's wealth doesn't make me a unique person, and I learned that respect should be based on character, not on wealth. When someone tells a judge that their father can buy them, they are showing that they lack the ability to buy." Caprio nods in agreement and acknowledges that he has started earning character. "Your community service has been completed. Your license suspension is lifted only if you complete the driver safety course. This is finished. Don't come back here, mister." "I won't do it, Roth. Nevertheless, it's a good thing there'd be no review hearing next time." Providence follows the expart influence log protocol 6 months later. The initial month's report identifies 11 contacts that were attempted but declined. The clerk hotline receives 19 calls, with 6 resulting in formal inquiries and 12 zones with malfunctioning equipment. All procedures are completed within 60 days. Enforcement statistics become available. In school districts, speeding tickets decrease by 28%. Caprio's contempt guidance memo is circulated throughout the state. The statement acknowledges that wealth is not a credential and that status cannot be used as evidence of cruelty. It is clear that the defendant's use of money or connection to intimidate the court is the defining factor in custody. Caprio concludes his final case on Friday afternoon. The docket from that Tuesday morning, where Aiden Roth said he could buy you, is retrieved and left in handcuffs. He then writes a single note in the margin of his bench book, stating that the bench is not for sale. It won't ever happen. He ponders about Aiden standing in the cold school zone, waving a stop sign and observing children crossing without danger. Remember the text that said, "Let's not sweat on this." He locks the door, turns off the light, and closes the book. It's a dramatic act for storytelling and education, not journalism or legal advice.